From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Unturned drug bust. Just ahead, see how owners of a carpet cleaning company played a role in apprehending a suspect.
I'm Joe St. George in Georgia. Let's face it, whether you're building a home, buying a home, or maintaining a home, it's all expensive. But there's some big tax break changes taking effect starting January 1 that could improve your home's energy efficiency. We tell you why you should reconsider heat pumps next.
All right, 6:30 on this Thursday, right before the new year. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thursdays, and we said this earlier in the show, it's always like the hardest day on the morning show. I don't know that it's because you wake up early and Friday's not quite here, but you've made it through. Oh, I don't know.
You're close, but just not quite
there
there yet.
But hey, we're doing quite well
here
on Montana This Morning. The temperature's a little cooler as we're starting the morning. Most areas into the 20s. Skies are trying to clear for parts of the area. By the afternoon, we should see these daytime highs not far from where we are now, to be quite honest. We'll see a lot of sunshine, but not a huge warm-up for us, at least expected at this point. Both may be a little warmer than my original forecast, just because we're still a little on the warmer side at this point. Daytime highs expected to be into the mid-20s. We do have lots of sunshine and lighter wind on tap today. Maybe some snow possible tomorrow. We're going to talk more about that timing and amounts in just a few minutes.
Looking forward to it, Matt. Thank you very much. Well, an unusual story is coming from Billings, where two men chased a drug suspect into the arms of an undercover officer, all after a hit-and-run crash. MTN's Charlie Kleps explains how this bizarre story unfolded.
It's normally not hectic in this part of town on Avenue C and 13th Street, but that wasn't the case Thursday afternoon as a hit and run turned into a drug bust. BPD managed to make the arrest, but not without a little bit of help from some courageous bystanders.
The last thing Micah Richardson and Preston Schmidt expected when they arrived at work on Tuesday was that they would play a huge role in a drug bust. But that's exactly what happened.
It started out like a normal day, but it didn't end that way.
The duo runs a carpet cleaning company and were just doing their job in a home near Ace Hardware when a man crashed into their car.
I'm looking at my vehicle outside and a car smashes into the back of it.
According to Micah, the man was unconscious and visibly on some type of drugs.
Unresponsive, but it didn't look like he was unresponsive because he was injured. It seemed like he was tripping.
When Micah called 911, the driver suddenly awoke, fleeing the scene.
I'm on the phone with 911, he just comes to and he's taken off.
Micah chased him as long as he could, but knew his son-in-law and co-worker Preston might have a better chance at tracking the man down.
I haven't run a marathon in a while, so I wasn't going to keep up with this guy.
And when I finally got the machine shut off and everything, and I took after, I told Micah, I was like, it's okay, I got it.
It turned into a high-speed chase on foot, but this criminal's luck had run out, running right into the hands of an undercover cop.
If he would have ran the opposite direction, then who knows? You know, he could have ducked down an alleyway or something and hid it out, and nobody would have found him. But he ran to the officer unknowingly.
BPD wound up arresting 37-year-old Bryce Winder for 2 counts of possession with the intent to distribute, something that potentially couldn't have been achieved without the help of Micah and Preston.
You hear hero, but you don't even think of that. It's just a matter of somebody who's doing something they shouldn't.
I'm happy that we were able to get someone who's potentially dangerous or doing things in our community that's not good, that we're able to get another guy off the streets.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Charlie. 6:33 now. Belgrade's Light Park suffered damage during recent windstorms. According to officials, some of the light tunnels were taken out and need shop work. They will be packed up for the season, but organizers hope to salvage the rest of the park's holiday light features for one more week. The park is open until Friday, January 6th from dusk until 11 p.m. The displays will be taken down completely on January 7th by the Belgrade Community Coalition and volunteers. And both prices and the numbers of homes waiting to be sold are on the rise in Gallatin County. According to the Gallatin Association of Realtors, home sales are slowing down. While the average price of a single-family home remains high, those other factors could mean cooling of the market. The median price in November is at almost $769,000. That's up 4.6% from a year ago. The median price for a condo is $479,000. That's up 3% from last November. And the Realtor Association says we are moving more toward a neutral market compared to the seller's market we've been seeing over the last few years. And an oil drilling lease was reinstalled on sacred land of the Blackfeet Indian Reservation. It's been a long decades fight to keep natural gas drilling companies off of the Badger II Medicine area. Louisiana-based company Solnex is the current leasehold. MTN's Brianna Juneau met with those appealing the decision.
In the Blackfeet's creation, they tell stories of how their people began to suffer and die long ago. Seeing their suffering, the creator Istabatbiop returned to the tribe and led them into the land of mountains and rolling hills and gave them the gift of communication with the creator and other spirits. This land includes what is now known as the Badger II Medicine and is a great importance of spiritual and resourceful power to the Blackfeet people because it is there that the spirits remain and where the Blackfeet can go to be alone near Creator Sun, Napi Natusi, while still standing on Mother Earth, Tsakamitapi, so that their prayers can be heard.
It's always been a place where you can go back and pray. It's very spiritual. It speaks to you. It speaks to your very core. I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of us.
Back in the 1980s, a series of leases to drill oil and natural gas were permitted within the Badger II Medicine area. Not only is the area culturally significant to the Blackfeet, but it serves as a corridor for wildlife traveling between Glacier National Park, the Bob Marshall Wilderness, and the Blackfeet Indian Reservation. For those reasons, the leases were suspended in the 90s, and a bill was passed in 2006 to prohibit any leases from being created in the future.
Well, like you're saying, we have this relationship there with the land that's going back thousands of years. To preserve our relationship with the area, that they could drill somewhere else.
The 40-year-old saga continues as one Louisiana-based company, Solnex, seeks to continue the fight to dig for oil. U.S. District Judge Richard Leon of Washington, D.C. sided with Solnex in his decision on September 9th of this year, rejecting the federal government's claim that drilling and road building in the area would compromise the area's ecological and cultural value. Leon declared that the lease had been properly issued and in turn voided the lease cancellation with Solnex. We reached out for response, but received nothing at this time.
The company that holds this lease has a proposal to build about 6 miles of road into this area and then develop a drill pad and drill an exploratory well and build a bridge across the Two Medicine River. And we just don't think this is the place for that kind of activity.
A Badger II Medicine native who wishes to remain anonymous spoke about the frustrations he feels with the potential for oil drilling in the area.
That particular area means so much to me personally, my family, my friends, my tribe, and I think that it should be taken into consideration as just not a piece of ground that they can go dig up.
So we kind of have to, it's like we're out in this corral, and so we can argue all we want using law, but we can't get outside that corral, And so I think the way we think about the area is much bigger.
The district court's decision is being appealed, and both the Blackfeet tribe and other conservation groups hope for a positive outcome in their favor.
Now, we believe that the judge that made the ruling, that he may be wrong in the law, and we're very confident we're going to win this case.
That's the next step, is to pursue this appeals process, and we're going to take every step that the law allows to make sure to preserve the integrity and the undeveloped nature of the Badger II Medicine.
On the Blackfeet Reservation, Brianna Juneau, MTN News.
Brianna, thank you very much. 6:39 now. A working furnace has been much appreciated this holiday season in many parts of the country, still dealing with that bitter cold and in many cases record-breaking temperatures. A working heating and cooling system, though, is probably not something you think of until you need it. But as our Joe St. George explains, new tax credits are making some of the most energy efficient systems more affordable in the new year, creating an option to possibly save your family money.
Someone owns this house. They have not moved in yet.
Let's talk about heating and cooling. And no, this is not a commercial.
I promised them we would take off our shoes.
Tim Uzar is the founder of Ecomec Geothermal. He's teaching us about something you may not have heard of before.
This is a geothermal heat pump.
Well, that sounds like a mouthful. Because of new government tax breaks, homeowners, you want to pay attention. A heat pump generally cools your home when it's hot outside and warms your home when it's cold. In the summer, it works by taking hot air out of your house and replacing it with cool air. In the winter, it pumps in air that has been warmed from the outside. There are air-sourced heat pumps and ones that work underground.
That's all we do is move heat from one space to the other.
The reason we're covering this is new tax credits are taking effect on January 1st. That's making installing heat pumps cheaper. Some incentives are already in place. That matters because
it's about 2.5 to 3 times more expensive.
They have historically been more expensive to install. Once they're in, though, utility bills can go down. How much does a heat pump save a homeowner?
Generally 40 to 70%. You gotta break some eggs to make an omelet.
Still, the installation sticker shock has prevented many homeowners from making the switch. They can cost anywhere from $4,000 to $40,000, and that's where you're going to want to read up on the Inflation Reduction. Households can get 100% of certain types of heat pumps covered. Moderate income households can get 50% of the costs paid. That's potentially an $8,000 savings. If you're a higher earning family, starting on January 1st, a tax credit of up to $2,000 a year is available if you make any energy efficient upgrade to your home.
We have these pipes right here.
Tim today showed us a geothermal heat pump, which is the most expensive and most energy efficient model. A new 30% tax credit for this is now in effect.
That brings it down to a swallowable number.
If you're wondering why Washington and other governments around the world are so interested in heat pumps, the answer is climate change. In this neighborhood in Georgia, for instance, heat pumps are the only type of heating and cooling that's allowed because they don't emit as much CO2. In Washington state, a new state law says all homes and apartments built after July will need to have them. Tim's advice to homeowners? Just do some research.
I do expect there to be more interest in it.
In Atlanta, I'm Joe St. George.